Welcome to essenceofitaly.net. This program, The Mandolin, the Serenade of Italy. Your host, Carolyn Missoni.
What could be more Italian than the sound of a mandolin? Close your eyes and you're floating on a gondola in Venice, or walking the narrow streets of Naples as the sun sets. Where did the mandolin come from, and how did it become the signature sound of Italy? Here to answer these questions is the award-winning musician, composer, and arranger, John T. La Barbera. John has been playing traditional Italian music for over 30 years. He's recorded numerous CDs and composed many film soundtracks. His theater credits include several off-Broadway productions, including Souls of Naples with John Turturro, and his Italian music and theater company, I Giuliari di Piazza. John has just completed a book called Traditional Southern Italian Mandolin and Fiddle Tunes, published by Mel Bay. Complete with a CD, this book is a rare treasure for music lovers. It not only explains the origins and development of the mandolin, but contains an archive of just some of the traditional Southern Italian music John has documented. Many of the pieces were learned only by ear from generation to generation, but never in written form. John T. La Barbera is the first one to have preserved these pieces in writing for the mandolin. It's believed that the Italian mandolin descended from an Arabic instrument called the oud. The oud is a stringed instrument with a rounded back brought to Europe in the 10th century. Over the centuries that followed, Europe molded the oud in its own way. The oud inspired the lute and, in Elizabethan times, became a court instrument. Schools of lute music opened throughout Europe, but most notably in Naples and Venice. In Naples during the 1700s, the mandolin had a renaissance of its own. Master craftsmen like Vinaccia and Calace refined the instrument's woodworking with an almond-shaped body and a bold back made from curved strips of wood. They also switched from using traditional gut strings to metal strings. These innovations made the mandolin more durable, louder, and increasingly popular. It was well on its way to becoming the unmistakable music of Italy.
The mandolin really has that Neapolitan sound, that Italian sound. What makes it sound very Italian also is this type of picking called tremolo. Right?
In Italy, there was a long tradition of musicians earning their living as barbers. They brought their mandolins, violins, and guitars into the barbershops, and when they weren't helping customers, they played. It was a good idea, since the profession kept the musicians' hands better protected than working as laborers. Also, barbershops closed early enough to allow the musicians to gather in the piazza and play into the night.
Remember the Barber of Seville?
Yes.
Well, he played mandolin. I have a beautiful photograph from 1910 or 1904 of these guys standing around playing mandolin in their barber suits.
Another key to the mandolin's popularity was Queen Margherita of Italy, who reigned in the late 19th century. If her name sounds familiar to you, it's probably because the Pizza Margherita was named for her. She was a patron of the arts who sponsored painters, writers, musicians, and founded cultural institutions. She also played the mandolin.
Because of that, then a lot of women were really inspired. She was very influential. And so she inspired a lot of women to take up the mandolin.
From this influence, Italian women formed mandolin orchestras, and they played throughout Europe. As Italians immigrated to the United States, the orchestras came with them.
I could show you photographs of it. Women playing mandolins, elegantly dressed, like in the turn of the century, Victorian era. The mandolin was also very popular up until the 1920s. I still once in a while meet somebody who says, oh, my grandmother played that, or I remember my mother had a mandolin.
Tell me about the mandolin you're holding right now.
This instrument I acquired around 1980, after I came back from Italy. And I had a guitar student. She knew that I played the mandolin, and she said she had an instrument that was her grandmother's, and she said that I'd like you to have it because nobody plays it. She gave me this mandolin. This mandolin is from around 1900, late 1890s, 1900. It was made by the Martin Guitar Company. They also made mandolins.
Would you play something for me? Although the mandolin made its journey from the Arab world to the United States, its sound is indelibly associated with Italy. Maybe it's because Italy loved the mandolin the most. This is Carolyn Massoni for essenceofitaly.net. Thanks for listening.
To further your Italian experience, essenceofitaly.net presents selections from the gorgeous photographic collection, Italy Through the Eyes of Love. These beautiful pieces are available for purchase through our online store at essenceofitaly.net.